All right, there are 5 seats left in the round of 32 in the GSL Season 2, brought to you by, of course, Sony Ericsson, along with Blizzard, and we're going to find out which 5 seats are going to be taken by the last remaining 10 players from the round of 64. Hello and welcome. My name's Jason Lee, and I'm joined by Brian Francioli. And I'm getting that right?
That's me, Brian
that sounds
Francioli.
Very, very Italian. I'm sure you know a lot about StarCraft, probably more than I do, as this is my second day doing this now. But certainly it's going to be fun to do, as we've got some good matchups coming up, including a very big name from the StarCraft world who has found his way over to StarCraft II.
Yes, we all know who that is, Red Nada Iunyo.
And it's going to be very exciting to watch. Anytime you have a big name, there's always the big question of, is he just going to win, or might he do something spectacular, especially as someone with the stature of Nada to be able to come out and be in front of an audience, be comfortable, and maybe try something a little fun.
That's what I was asking him backstage. He was telling me it's common, Marine tank push, Terran versus Terran. But I was looking him in the eye saying, I know you prepared something special, so just don't tell me, just show us.
Okay, well, it's going to be fun to see. Regardless, let's take a look at all the matches that we're going to be able to see this evening, 5 of them, as we take a look at the board. And here we go. Actually, we're going to take a look at the results first that we had earlier in our afternoon matchups, including Nesti, a 2-0 sweep over Kang Ji-young. It was also a 2-0 sweep for Park Jong-hyuk as he took down Next Chief. EG Hydra defeating Chicken Combo, and OGS Gon taking down Rex Zan Dark. And actually, all four of those matchups in the afternoon were 2-0 sweeps to advance to the round of 32. And as mentioned, we have just 5 more matches this evening, as we have 5 more spots left in the round of 32, including Sound Wera is going to be facing off I Am MVP. Jakji Wera is going to be up against OGS Zinio. Cargo is going to be meeting OGS Nada over the Zero against OGS MC. And Love Rip Wera is up against OGS The Wind. So a lot of OGS players, and also a few Wera team players that we're going to be seeing today. And what does it mean to be a part of a clan like Wera or OGS or some of these teams? I mean, does it make you a better player to be a part of these clans? Or is it more pressure? What does it result in as opposed to being an independent player?
That's the advantage. When they make these pro teams, they collect the best players they can get, and when you have the best together, the best practicing together, the best gets better.
Okay, so basically survival of the fittest. You have the strong together, the strong surviving together. I guess giving each other information, as well as been a lot of talk about players helping each other to beat particular players as well, and almost like collusion, you might want to call it. I don't know if it'd be something illegal or seen shunned upon, but certainly different tactics that can aid other players to defeat other players.
Well, that's partly true, but that's also why you collect your team members carefully and then you practice with them. Because if you only practice with your team members, you're not really at a disadvantage to having a random player tell your strategy to your future opponent. But at the same time, you really don't know what's going to happen when you only have a team full of good players, and then you move on and okay.
All right. Well, let's take a look at our first player, who is part of one of these bigger clans. It is Sound Wera, and part of the Wera clan. Where would you rank a clan like Wera in the big scheme of things?
Okay, well, I'm biased here. I'm an OGS fan, so I'm going to put them above. And I'm saying Wera's roughly number 3. I think I Am MVP takes the number 2 spot all by himself, and then Wera can come right after.
Okay, so I Am MVP. Certainly a big name that we're going to get to in a moment. Sound Wera, by the way, 18 years of age. He is a Terran player, and he is playing another Terran player. This is Chung Jung Hyun, and he is I Am MVP. Now, this isn't a clan. This is just a one-man clan. You're saying?
Oh, okay. Well, I was talking to a former SC1 player that I know back in the back, and he was telling me, "Don't you know IM clan?" And I have to admit, I didn't know until now.
Oh.
I hope I'm not wrong here, but CHRH informed me that IM is a team, but that MVP is his star player.
Okay. Well, I'm misinformed as well. Like I said, I'm not as informed with StarCraft 2, but let's take a look at the maps that we're going to be playing on for these two players. We're starting off, set number 1 will be on Delta Quadrant, as set number 2 goes to Metalopolis. And then set 3 will be Blistering Sands. And maps that were taken out, Jungle Basin, Steppes of War from Soundwera, and Shakura's Plateau and Jungle Basin taken out by IM MVP. So a Terran versus Terran. This is actually the first mirror matchup that I've been able to cast now. I guess this is my 10th matchup, and the first mirror matchup. Terran versus Terran. Obviously, there's no real advantage to a particular player, but what are the general things that we would see? What are the most common units that we might see in a TVT?
Okay. Well, we're going to see some sort of barracks gas opening into factory, and then from there it's either marine tank push with follow-up Banshee, perhaps defensive Viking, and from there you're gonna mirror match your opponent.
Okay.
And counter from there.
Let's see what happens in set number 1. MVP versus Sound. And this is a Terran versus Terran. So obviously color going to be very important here. Wera is red. And our blue Terran at 7 o'clock is...
I am MVP.
I am MVP. Is the blue Terran at the bottom left. And I'll try to reiterate that as we go to make sure we know exactly who's who. MVP is blue and Sound is red. Both starting off with supply. First, of course, looks like blue, our MVP, is actually starting off closer to the choke point, whereas Sound is going to be building his supply right next to his gas geyser. What's the advantage of each in terms of placement?
Well, I was just thinking that in this match I don't particularly see an advantage to walling in right off the bat, because usually you're going to be pumping out a couple Marines at the start, chase away the early scout. To be honest, I think it's a slight metagame fault to wall in when you don't need to. It takes SCV that much longer to get to go away from the resources, build and go back. Just that much. These kind of small advantages really add up on the pro scene.
Okay, when we look at Terran versus Terran in StarCraft 1, generally speaking, the rule of thumb was you don't use bionic units. You want to go strictly mechanical. But in this particular case, is that a little bit different or completely different or just exactly the same?
Well, in the early mid-game, the Marines are just such useful support units for your higher tech like tank, Banshee, whichever route you choose. Marines are just so useful in even up into the mid-game. And I really don't see any only tech route or only mech route until at least into the 15-minute mark, 10-15-minute mark.
All right, Marine chasing away this scouting SCV as MVP trying to take a peek. Second refinery being started on now by Sound, who is our red Terran. Meanwhile, MVP already pumping gas out of both his refineries.
Yeah, absolutely. You need that second gas fast no matter what you're doing, be it tank or Banshee. So we're going to see a tech route here. We're not going to see any sort of fast expansion, crazy play.
Factory almost complete for Sound. Couple of Marines guarding his choke point, making sure nothing gets up there to scout him out. And it looks like our blue Terran MVP is about ready to head out.
Yeah, he's showing a little pressure. Chase the SCV away. Make your opponent step back a little bit and think, hey, what might be coming?
Is it common to expand rather early from a Terran versus Terran standpoint, or do you want to gain a little bit of map control before you do so?
You know, in the beginning when I played, I'm a fast expansion user, and I love it. I love to be a little bit risky in order to get the big payoff, so to speak. But I think you're going to find these players are going to put a little pressure on and kind of go from there. Lay a CC down after they see what their opponent's doing and making sure the timing's right.
Well, our blue Terran MVP has his starport completed just a little bit earlier than our red player Sound, and both going with Banshees, but it does appear that it's going to be a little bit ahead.
A medevac here from red. Medevac tank Marine push coming from where, actually. But blue is, let's see, he's got cloak 70% done. And he is not laying down. Yeah, he's opting for turrets rather than going for the fast Raven. But he's going to be changing his mind pretty soon once that Banshee hits his mineral line.
And here comes the Banshee for MVP. But meanwhile, on the other hand, Sound coming right up the rampway here. Hello, how you doing?
Jeez.
Right up the rampway pretty easily. And here come the SEVs to help out. Medevac there doing the best it can to help out MVP.
Yeah, he's just got to hold on until the Banshee comes, and then he can fight this back.
Meanwhile, Banshee harassment here at Sound's base.
Yeah, it's crucial now to multitask well. This Banshee has got to do damage in the main, as well as holding off this second tank that's coming up to kill the bunker.
And that tank, no, it's going to back down from the bunker.
And he's going to lose that Banshee. Slow reaction time on Cloak and getting out of there.
And going back in for a couple more hits. Is he going to lose the Banshee? 9 kills, by the way, for that Banshee. Meanwhile, on the other end.
All right. Pop that medevac.
And the siege tank goes down. MVP actually still has that Banshee alive and well under Cloak.
He does, and he's still got, let's see, 8 seconds or so before the next red scan coming up. Yeah, right now he needs to kind of back off a little bit because his resource is down from pulling the SCVs for so long from defending.
Trying to drive up is MVP. He's got the counterattack going with his Marines. Pushing forward 5 Marines. Trying to take out that turret to give a little more room for the Banshee. He does get the turret.
Wow.
Working on the tech lab now. Once again, the Banshee up with 4 kills on that one. Hellion there now joining the rush.
Yeah, losing those 2 tanks appeared to be pretty crucial there. I thought he had a third one making, so I'm not quite sure what happened.
Banshee's gone. It's just the Hellion all alone now. Tank comes out and should be able to take it down. Certainly pushes it away, but here's that other Banshee. Viking spotted and lay the hurt down on it. And the Banshee is finally gone. Hellion goes, and there is GG as MVP hangs on for the win. Good game. MVP taking it.
Tanking it.
Tanking it, we could say.
I like it.
All right, let's talk about the turning point. What went wrong for Sound?
Well, I mean, the tank Marine push was spot on, but going all the way up into the base, that's been a mistake players have been making since StarCraft I. When you got to know when you're beat, and SCVs, they're not as strong as they used to be, but they're still pretty strong, especially in combo, as we saw with those units.
And the tank, I mean, it was left all alone to be basically naked up there on the base to have surrounded by a bunch of SCVs. I think probably about 10 of them got in there, killed it down in the counterattack. The timing was a great play also. Let's give credit to MVP for taking the time to go immediately after knowing that he had the opportunity. Banshee also doing a lot of damage as well.
Exactly. That first Banshee, as we saw, it was risky play in the beginning. His Marines were coming up the ramp, but it paid off in the end when he held out.
All right, let's go to set number 2.